Ladies and gentlemen, there's a subtle difference between self-interest and selfishness. Self-interest is the spark that lights your potential. Selfishness is the flame that burns bridges. Today, I want to fan the spark. Because when you make you your first project, everything you touch is lifted in value. The diligent few cultivate the soil, water the seeds, pull the weeds, and almost mysteriously, those butterflies come settle right where the flowers bloom. The lesson, tend the garden first, the butterflies will follow. Focusing on yourself isn't retreat, it's preparation. It's sharpening the axe before you enter the forest. It's reading 10 pages before you write one sentence. It's jogging the block before you sprint the mile. While the crowd scrolls, you study. While they complain, you create. And while they dabble, you develop disciplines that compound like interest, quietly at first, then unmistakably. Now, growth is seldom glamorous. Ever watch a seed in real time? Nothing seems to happen until everything happens. Roots grip the earth, stems push through darkness, a leaf breaks daylight, and suddenly the empty pot is bursting with life. People will call it an overnight success, ignorant of the silent season beneath the soil. Remember, the invisible effort always precedes the visible reward. There will be critics. Some will say, "You've changed." Smile and say, "I was supposed to." Stagnation may feel safe, but it's the most dangerous place to stand. Evolution is the rent we pay for staying alive in a world that never stops spinning. Pay it gladly. Eventually, you'll look up and see you've become the person your younger self used to admire. And the sweetest victory won't be the applause, the title, or the bank balance. It will be the quiet certainty that you kept your promise to improve the one asset nobody else can manage but you. So focus on yourself until you win, then focus on yourself again, because on the day you stop growing, you start shrinking. Polish the mind, strengthen the body, guard the spirit, and let the scoreboard take care of itself. The clock strikes 6 a.m. and 2 people roll over to greet the day. One grabs the phone, thumb scrolls, mind idles, minutes vanish. The other grabs a journal, pen moves, goals clarify, resolve ignites. Same sunrise, different dividends. Self-indulgence is a thief with velvet gloves. It steals our prime real estate. Attention, leaves us thinking we've been entertained, even rewarded. Self-investment, on the other hand, is an unattractive contractor who shows up with blueprints and a bill. At first glance, the thief looks friendlier. But give it a year. Better yet, fine, compare the addresses. One person lives in a mansion of competence. The other rents a cramped apartment of regret. Here's the secret. Every indulgence borrows from tomorrow while every investment pays tomorrow interest. Skip the workout today and you withdraw energy from next week. Read 10 pages today and you deposit wisdom that compounds for decades. The ledger is always balanced. The only question is which side you choose to sign. Start small, because small is sustainable. Swap one sugary scroll for a single paragraph of biography. Trade 15 minutes of gossip for 15 minutes of gratitude reps. Yes, gratitude is a muscle. Put $5 into an index fund instead of a triple foam latte. Each modest shift is a seed. Give it seasons and you'll harvest orchards. And remember, self-investment isn't limited to books and budgets. Upgrade your circle. Dine with people who discuss ideas, not people. Guard your language. The words "I can't charge" compound interest at mafia rates. Nourish your body like it's the only vehicle you'll ever own, because it is. Speak less, listen more. The ears learn while the tongue merely repeats. Most of all, keep score with standards, not selfies. The mirror may show you today's reflection, but your discipline's project tomorrow's silhouette. Cultivate rituals that outlive motivation. Set the alarm across the room. Lay the gym shoes by the door. Schedule thinking time like a doctor's appointment. Non-negotiable, because every day you either finance your future or fund your frustrations, and the payments are automatic. Choose the account that pays dividends rather than penalties, and soon indulgence will feel like an overdraft fee you refuse to pay ever again. Picture a farmer standing in an empty field at dawn. He doesn't complain about the missing corn. He reaches into the sack and plants kernels, row after patient row. Disciplines are those kernels. They're small, unimpressive, even tedious. You can spill a handful in your palm and hardly feel the weight. But bury them in the soil of a consistent day and they inherit a billionaire's secret, compounding. A single push-up is a seed. Read one pa, another seed. Save 5 reels, seed. Smile at your spouse before the coffee brews, seed. None will win you awards by sunset. In fact, they'll barely dent the hour. But come back in 90 days and the field is whispering with green promise. Come back in 900 and the silo is bursting. That's the harvest we call habit. Abundance on autopilot. Here's the tragedy. Most folks judge the seed by the first hour rather than the final season. They plant, glance, see nothing, then quit. They forget that roots grow downward before stalks shoot upward. That discipline does its best work underground, away from applause. Nature's timeline refuses negotiation. First the toil, then the sprout. First the silence, then the song. The trick is to make planting inevitable. Pre-pack tomorrow's lunch tonight. Put the audiobook on the car's dashboard. Set the savings transfer to run while you sleep. Turn willpower into design power. Arrange your environment so that discipline isn't a decision, but a default. Farmer doesn't rely on motivation to wake up. The rooster and the rising sun handle that. Design your own rooster. And remember, not every seed is botanical, some are verbal. Words spoken in anger germinate thistles. Words spoken in encouragement sprout shade trees. Be the cultivator of conversations that future you will want to sit under. Guard the gate too. Weeds those easy pleasures that promise quick bloom but deliver thorn. Sneak in through unmonitored moments. A late night scroll, a skip budget entry, a harmless white lie, weeds. Pull them early when the roots are thin. Wait, and you'll need gloves. Sweat, and perhaps a bit of pain to reclaim the rayo. Keep a ledger, not of money alone, but of minutes invested and promises kept. Each check mark is a seed counted. Each streak on the calendar is a row tended. Soon the arithmetic shifts. What began as addition turns to multiplication. One healthy meal begets energy. Energy begets clearer thinking. Clearer thinking begets better choices. A harvest of momentum. And when storms come, and they will, remember that deep-rooted crops bend, shallow ones break. Your daily disciplines are the anchors that hold when markets dip, schedules explode, or critics howl. A man with sturdy habits can lose a barn and rebuild before winter. A man without them watches the season pass and blames the clouds. Think of the iceberg the tourist snaps from the cruise deck. 10% shimmers in the sunlight, photogenic and proud. 90% lurks beneath, massive and unseen, steering the whole colossus. Achievement works the same way. The diploma, the promotion, the lean physique, those are the 10%. Below the waterline sit the early alarms, the late night study sessions, the reps nobody counted, the quiet choices between a just enough and one more. That unseen 90% is what lifts the tip high enough for the world to marvel. Here's the paradox. The more spectacular the public result, the more mundane the private routine that produced it. Champions look glamorous under spotlights, but downright ordinary at dawn. While spectators crave hacks and shortcuts, craftsmen crave deliberate laps around the basics. Again and again until second nature becomes first. Mastery is a romance with repetition. Invisible preparation begins with the questions you ask when no one is listening. Where am I soft? What skill learn now will save me anguish later? It's reading the extra chapter after the assignment is finished, practicing the keynote after the audience is gone, rehearsing the handshake and the smile before the interview is scheduled. Every inch of polish applied in private will gleam a foot farther in public. Guard your preparation time like sacred land. The moment you defend your calendar from casual invaders, I've got a minute? You announce your seriousness to the universe, and opportunity begins to take you seriously too. Because the universe, like any prudent investor, funds the projects that show pre-construction progress. And remember, silence is the ally of the builder. Announcing your blueprint too soon invites critics whose only hammer is doubt. Keep the scaffolding under wraps until the structure can stand on its own. Let the finished doorway greet the naysayers with quiet confidence. I was working while you were wondering. The marketplace eventually measures the gap between those who prepared and those who merely planned. At first, the difference is microscopic. Cents on the dollar, seconds on the stopwatch. Give it time, and the compound effect of readiness widens the gap into a king. Suddenly, the prepared look lucky, when in truth they were simply ready on schedule for a train others didn't know was coming. Invisible preparation also means feeding the mind with inputs that don't pay off until the test arrives. Study negotiation before the contract lands, empathy before the conflict erupts, first aid before the accident occurs. Life seldom sends invitations in advance. It prefers pop quizzes. Those who study daily ace the exam. The rest pray for a curve. Your mind is the executive suite of your life. Corner office, skyline view, all future strategies drafted within its walls. Now imagine leaving that door propped open so any passerby can wander in. Gossiping coworkers, junk mail salesmen, late night infomercials pitching 2 for 1 doubts. Before you know it, the conference table is cluttered with half-truths, the whiteboard scribbled with fear, and the CEO can't hear strategy over the chatter. The first rule of mental security is selective entry. Develop a velvet rope policy. Just as clubs don't apologize for enforcing a dress code, you needn't apologize for vetting every book, podcast, tweet, or colleague asking to occupy cognitive real estate. Ask each applicant 2 questions. Will you elevate my standards? And will you expand my possibilities? If the answer is a no, or even a not sure, then they wait outside or find another venue. A cheap influence is anything that promises stimulation without education. Like fast food for the brain, it tastes good at the moment, but leaves you sluggish, craving more salt, more sugar, more distraction. Curiosity is healthy. Catastrophe scrolling is not. Information is vital. Inflammation, those headlines designed to inflame emotion, is corrosive. You wouldn't pour motor oil into a cup of fine Arabic coffee. Why pour mental sludge into the circuitry that runs your ambitions? Curate a mastermind library instead. Fill your shelf and your subscription feed. Thinkers who challenge your comfort, authors who ask better questions than you've been asked. If an hour on social media feels like a mental sneeze, counter it with 20 pages of biography that feels like deep breath. Make it a ratio. For every moment absorbed by entertainment, spend a moment invested in enlightenment. Next, mind the background music. Every day, subtle melodies play beneath your conscious thought. Office chatter, news tickers, cynical relatives, even your own inner critic drumming negative beats. Turn down that volume by designing soundtracks of progress, uplifting lectures on the commute, instrumental focus playlists during work, and moments of curated silence where inspiration can whisper, And remember, even a diamond loses luster when stored among charcoal. Environment tints attitude. Sit at a table where big ideas are served, and you'll soon develop a taste for possibility. Linger with perpetual victims, and pessimism will season every word you speak. So, audit your associations. Some relationships require renovation, others a polite eviction notice. Love people, yes, but don't lease your mindset to their limitations. Finally, practice mental hygiene as rigorously as physical hygiene. Just as drivers use windshield wipers to clear splatter, employ reflection to clear cognitive clutter. Journal nightly. What thoughts serve me today? What stories cramp my vision? Meditate even 5 minutes to sweep the floor of mental debris. Rehearse gratitude. It's the disinfectant that kills germs of envy and complaint before they spread. Every rising balloon must displace a pocket of air. Likewise, every step forward squeezes someone who'd rather stay put. Progress by nature creates friction. When you begin reading before breakfast, the late sleepers feel judged. So your alarm rings, only for you. When you climb a rung on the career ladder, colleagues anchored to the same rung hear it creak and complain about the noise. Their discomfort is the thermostat proving the room is heating up. So where their unease is confirmation, not condemnation. Anka. If no one winces at your growth, you're likely stuck in place. Remember, the gardener's shovel offends the complacent soil. It's disturbed, overturned, exposed to sunlight. Yet that very turmoil bursts roots, stems, blooms. Your momentum will unsettle the landscape around you, and that's precisely how dormant seeds awaken. But beware the invitation to shrink. Friends may plead, take a day off, when what they mean is, don't outpace me. Relatives may tease your new study habit, branding it as too serious, when they fear the contrast highlights their own stalls. Smile kindly, but keep your stride. Applause from the idle is the cheapest currency. Let their criticism remind you that the toll booth for excellence always collects discomfort. From you and from onlookers. Understand, too, that offense breeds reflection. Your transformed health forces the fast food crew to read nutrition labels. Your budget discipline nudges spenders to open their dusty checkbooks. You become a living question mark, challenging assumptions merely by showing up changed. That silent interrogation is a service, even if they scowl at the invoice. Progress also clarifies loyalties. True allies cheer your ascent, even when it casts a shadow over their plateau. They see your summit as a lighthouse, not a spotlight. The comfortable, however, tug at your ankles disguised as companions. Identify the difference early. The partner hands you water during the race. A sabotager accidentally ties your laces together at the starting line. And let's not forget the internal comfort zone. That plush recliner in the mind whispering, "We've done enough." Offend that voice daily. Set goals that make your current skill set gulp, then chase them until gulp turns to grin. Each self-imposed stretch summons muscles you didn't know existed. Physical, mental, spiritual. Track your gains publicly enough to stay accountable, privately enough to stay humble. Post the marathon medal if it inspires, but keep the 5 a.m. blisters between you and the pavement. Let the scoreboard provoke, not gloat. Because progress should offend the comfortable, yes, but it should nourish the hungry. Be bread, not braggadocio. Be a lamp, not a laser pointed at the eyes. In time, today's critics might enroll, student. Keep the focus inward, the standards upward, the momentum forward, and the game forever new.